What's going on, guys? Vital Syntax here, and today we're talking about the support kit in Battlefield 4, some of the things that they've changed and updated coming from Battlefield 3. We're talking about some of the new weapons that we'll see in the game, and some of the changes they've made to the equipment. If you guys haven't seen my other class overviews, I did an overview for the Recon kit, the Assault kit, as well as the Engineer, and there'll be links in the description as well as during the outro of the video if you guys want to check those out. So let's first talk about the new weapons, or some of the returning weapons that have been confirmed so far for Battlefield 4. These are weapons that we've seen in some of the trailers that they've released, as well as some of the gameplay that we saw during the E3 live stream that they put on at twitch.tv. So the first one is the M249 Saw. We saw this in the Fishing in Baku trailer. One of your squad mates was holding it. You guys can see on screen here some of the screenshots from that trailer. We didn't see it in the multiplayer alpha that they showed off at E3, but we did see a couple other ones there as well. The next one is the Ulti Max 100 MK5. We saw this in a couple of the trailers that they released, as well as quite a bit of gameplay during the E3 live stream. We saw a bunch of different attachments unlocked for it, and there's just a bunch of stuff on this weapon. I actually did a dedicated video that went over the Ultimax 100 MK5. You guys can click on your screen on the annotation, or during in the description if you guys want to check out that dedicated video where I talked about a lot of the features of this weapon, like the fire rate, muzzle velocity, magazines, and a lot of different features about the gun in real life that hopefully will translate over into Battlefield 4. The next weapon is the QJY88, and we saw this in some of the leaked gameplay or leaked alpha screenshots that came out right before E3 actually started. Now we only have those 3, but there's going to be plenty more, don't worry. We are still currently in the pre-alpha / alpha stage of development, and I'm guessing that a lot of the weapons like the M240 Bravo, the PKP, the M60, a lot of those ones that we had in Battlefield 3 will probably be returning in Battlefield 4, but those are just some of the ones that we've had confirmed so far. So next, let's talk about the equipment. Now there's 2 major changes to the equipment for the support class. The first one is the biggest, and that's the change that they no longer has C4. So C4 was available to the support class in Battlefield 3. Before that, in Battlefield Bad Company 2, it was available to the Recon class, and they've gone back to what they did with Battlefield Bad Company 2 for Battlefield 4. So now the Recon has C4, and the support class no longer has C4. And I hope that they can do other things to help balance out the support class, because I felt like in Battlefield 3, the support class was slightly less useful in a lot of situations than, say, for example, the Engineer or the Assault class. And if they're going to remove C4, which is one of the key tools that the support class had, I hope that they can hopefully buff some of the other tools or weapons that the support has at its disposal. The next big change is similar to what we had it changed with the Assault class in terms of the medic bag and the medic box. We also have an ammo box and an ammo bag. So you have the larger box that you can throw onto the ground. You have an unlimited supply of these, and it gives anybody within its vicinity ammo regeneration. On top of that, you can also use a limited number of ammo bags that you can throw onto objects, vehicles, moving players. That way they can regenerate ammo while they're moving. And I don't know, this is kind of interesting, but I don't know if you'll be able to replenish ammo bags with ammo boxes. If you could, then you'd essentially have unlimited ammo bags. There'd just be a delay because you have to regenerate those with an ammo box. And I'm curious kind of how they're going to tweak with that. Now, another thing I wanted to point out in regards to ammo, specifically that we saw during the E3 with the pre-alpha build, was that in the pre-alpha build they had at E3, whenever you reloaded your weapon, you lost all the bullets in your magazine instead of just losing the bullets that you shot. And that's something that's been featured in a couple other games that kind of focus more on realism. Because when you think about it, when you're reloading your weapon, you're not pulling out the individual bullets from that spent magazine and putting them back into a different magazine. You're throwing away that entire magazine. So this is actually a glitch that they said will be featured in the hardcore game mode, but in the core game mode for Battlefield 4, that's not something that they're going to have. Now, obviously, this is still in development, so we might have that in hardcore. We might not have it in hardcore. I mean, the developers said that they're planning to put it in hardcore at this point, but obviously things will change over time. I would personally like to see it because I think it would put more emphasis on actually having to play the support class and resupply your teammates' ammo. And then the last thing I wanted to point out about the ammo is, I think in Battlefield 3, the support class was even more useless because you could spawn in with the ammo perk or the ammo specialization or squad specialization. If anybody in your squad had that specialization, you'd spawn in with like 200 or 300 rounds for an assault rifle or a carbine. And honestly, it was very rare that you actually needed ammo. Most of the times you got, killed before you ran out of ammo. And now they've changed how the squad perks work. You don't just get to select whatever squad perk you want. There's actually like a squad progression as you earn squad points by doing things to help your squad out. Reviving people, giving them ammo, giving them health, capturing objectives that were given to you as far as orders go from your squad leader or from the commander. Those will go towards a pool of points for your squad. And as you get more and more points, you'll unlock more and more specializations, all the same specializations that we had in Battlefield 3. The key thing though is that if your squad gets wiped, meaning every player in your squad dies, that meter gets reset, which is a very interesting mechanic, and it's going to put more emphasis on trying to stay alive, at least having one person in your squad staying alive. And it's also going to promote more teamwork because you're not just going to be able to choose whatever squad perk you want. You actually have to work for those squad perks, and it also prevent people from having overlapping squad specializations like you had in Battlefield 3, where you might have like an entire squad with the same specialization, which is obviously going to be kind of worthless, and it's kind of stupid. All right, the next piece of equipment is the Xm25 Grenade launcher, and this is a very unique weapon. It's a semi-automatic and only has a 4-round magazine, 25mm grenade launcher, and it actually will deploy the grenade and then explode mid-air. It's called an airburst grenade, and it's a really interesting mechanic where essentially the gun uses a laser system to determine the distance from the end of the barrel to whatever piece of cover that your enemy is hiding behind, and then it will calculate, it'll add a couple feet to compensate for the fact that he's on the other side of the barrier or whatever piece of cement that he's hiding behind. It'll shoot out the grenade and explode it right as it passes over the top of whatever piece of cement he's hiding behind. I don't know if that type of mechanics can be implemented in game, but it would definitely be really interesting. What we saw from the pre-build or pre-alpha build at E3 is we saw a couple people trying to shoot at tanks and stuff. It doesn't really seem to do very much damage against heavy tanks, which I don't know if I really like. It seems like it's more of an infantry-based explosive weapon. And I don't know. I don't really like grenade launchers in a lot of games. Even in Battlefield 3, something like the M320. I don't really like. I like it where it's if you're taking out a vehicle, I can understand that. And I wish M320s did more damage to vehicles as well as this Xm25 grenade launcher, but it seems like it's more of an anti-personal grenade launcher. Alright, anyway, that wraps up my overview of the support class in Battlefield 4. Talked about some of the new weapons, some of the new equipment, and some of the changes that it made from coming from Battlefield 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out some of the other overviews I did. And thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys on the battlefield.